predicting random things on the polymarket. Let's go. Starting out with Andrew Tate versus Chase Demore. Look, this is the heavyweight matchup of our lifetime. We have mediocre kickboxer Andrew Tate, who is retired, versus Chase Demore, who I don't think he's ever trained boxing in his life. So it's going to be an interesting matchup. I'm going to lean Andrew Tate. That's obviously what the odds have as well, 78% for him. I could see a knockout early. Chase Demore is a very bad boxer, but Andrew Tate isn't that much better, and he's older. So there's a chance Demore could be a good value. Now, Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua. Look, I don't see the route to victory. At least with Chase Demore, he's younger and a little bit bigger. Jake Paul has none of the advantages. He's shorter reach, less muscle, more fat, less experience, less big fight experience. I maybe he can take it to a decision loss, but I don't see anything past that. Now, Maduro, when is Maduro going to be out? Because I don't care about these MLB, NHL games. Who even cares? I don't even know what the Trojans versus Gamecocks are. Maduro, I think he's going to last a while. I think this is kind of a fake war to distract from other things. What will Trump say during Hanukkah reception? I definitely see thank you a bunch. Probably how much he loves Israel. I mean, we already know that. Tesla launches unsupervised full self-driving cars. So the prediction is they're going to launch it more likely than not before the middle of next year. Now, when they say launches, I don't know how liberally they're using that term because what does that mean exactly? I mean, does that mean one car? Does that mean multiple cars? I don't. Is it going to be like Waymo where it's crashing into different stuff? Brown University shooter arrested. Okay, well, they got to do it soon. Oh, they only have odds for 2 different days. Okay, we're not super interested in that. Will Trump remove his Rob Reiner post, the infamous attacking a dead man? Probably not. I don't see that happening. Now, we'll get into some more politics stuff because that's where the juicy stuff is at. So, who will be Trump's Fed chair? I think it's going to be Scott Bessent. Hot take. I know he's only at 2%. I know Trump wants to fire him right now. I think he's just blowing smoke. I think he's going to stick with Scott Bessent. So at 2%, I think that's a phenomenal value. And we'll get into some other political stuff. Democratic presidential nominees. So obviously Gavin Newsom is the front runner here. I don't see a world where AOC gets the nomination. It would be shocking. I don't think it's likely Shapiro gets it. I think Shapiro's too similar to Newsom in the fact that they're both white men, not in terms of policy. Well, honestly, they're probably pretty similar in policy as well. But Kamala, maybe. I mean, she apparently is running again, so maybe she thinks she can get it. Pete, no way. Once again, too similar to Shapiro and Newsom. Now, he does have one of those minority statuses because he's gay. John Ossoff, nope. Pritzker, nope. Wes Moore is a sleeper candidate, gives Obama vibes. Maybe it could be Wes Moore. Unlikely. Andy Beshear, once again, from Kentucky. A lot of people talk about him. He's kind of everybody goes to him as the sleeper candidate, but I think Wes Moore is more of a sleeper candidate. Gretchen Whitmer is going to be a VP for somebody, probably a white man if it's a Newsom. Maybe Stewart, that's a good value here. Other than that, I don't see. Cuban's a decent value. Stephen A. Smith's a decent value. Yeah, that's about it. But yeah, it's probably going to be Newsom if we're being totally honest. Now, in terms of the Republicans, look, once again, heavy favorite. Well, Newsom wasn't a favorite. He was an odds-on favorite. But Vance is the odds-on favorite at 53%, and he got all the way up to 60%, I think. Yeah, not quite. Well, he did. Yeah, he got up to 60. I don't think it's going to be Vance. Look, I think Trump is going to try to run, obviously. Trump is going to try to be the nominee. So I think it should be higher than 5% because this is essentially 2 things need to happen. Number 1, he needs to still be alive, which he's up there in age, so might not happen. But number 2, he needs to find a way to be on the ticket. And if he's on the ticket, he's beating every other Republican. So that's way more than 5% to me. Now, if Trump is gone and he can't do it, I imagine he would try to pick Donnie T, his son, one of his sons. It might be a different Trump. Ivanka, yeah, one of the Trumps. So I don't think Vance has any. It's weird because he's got 53%. I don't think there's any window for him to make it. I just don't see it. DeSantis is kind of a decent middle ground if Trump isn't in the picture. Maybe he's not even alive, and he can't pick the next man up. If it's between Vance, Rubio, DeSantis, Tucker, I think DeSantis kind of has the most sway with MAGA, as well as maybe a younger crowd. Tucker, maybe I could see it, but I think he might be even waiting even longer. MTG is definitely going to run. I don't see it. And out of the rest of the people, it's crazy. Kim K's on both. She's on both of them. Erica Kirk's definitely a decent. That's an odd picture for her, but she's a decent value there. And presidential, we kind of already talked about both of those. How many gold cards will Trump sell? Definitely going to be 0. There's no way any of the immigration gold cards get sold. And we'll look at sports.